Hey, how's it going, YouTube? Seen a lot of videos on uh, vacuum sealing. There's a couple ways to do it. One way is you can vacuum seal by using an oven. It's called dry canning. You stick your deal in the oven and make sure everything's dry. 225, about 45 minutes. You're heating up the air in here, and then when it cools, the poppet's down. It's dry. It's dry canned. Problem with that, and I don't know if you can see it, is it kind of discolors the pasta a little bit. I don't know if it affects the flavor. I don't know if you can see that. You can do it with rice or whatnot, beans. And I was thinking, you can get those DeSilica packs, and you can buy those pretty cheap, and you can throw one in a can, and that would take out most of the oxygen. But I got to thinking, now they got these things for your vacuum sealers, for your vacuum sealer bags that you can put on top of mason jars and suck the air out. But if you're a food preserver like myself, if you're always saving for a rainy day, you cannot find the little adapters. I can't find them anywhere. I've looked on the internet and they're pretty expensive, and I'm cheap and I'm Irish. And maybe you're an off-gridder and you don't have power, so you don't have the electricity to waste to use your little vacuum sealer. So I got to thinking, I said, all you need is a vacuum pump. That's all it is. So there's two ways to do it. You can get yourself a $40 Mechanics vacuum gauge, or vacuum, and that's great, but that's $40. Now what I did here was, and I'll explain that in a second, I went to the dollar store and I saw these little cups, and I saw these little basters. They come with a needle, and I said, I can do this. I said, when I was a kid, I bought this, it kind of looked like this with a suction cup, and it had these little stickers that you put over the hole, and you could do cans or you could do bags. I forgot the name of it. It was a neat little thing, and you just went like that, and it worked. Well, the problem with that was you only got one little strip of these little weird little taped on sticker valve deals, and then by the time you went through that row of them, you lost the instructions where you got it, and this was pre-internet. So I said, you know what? I can do something about this. I went to the dollar store and I picked up the heavy-dutyest rubber gloves I could, and what I was looking for is flat ends. Picked up the baster and two of these little T-hook deals, suction cups. Now obviously I'd have to get the smaller ones. I don't know if it will work on a smaller deal. And I got some tape. The thing with this tape to remember is, after time, the mastic on it gets like slimy. And anybody who's a mechanic will tell you that, because everybody always wraps a pair of pliers or something with this tape, and then it's all over the place. So with this tool I was talking about, first thing you did was you pop the hole in the can, and it came with a little popper. Now, I've lost that years and years ago. Well, this thing came with a little popper. All right. So, and these got pops. We do. And before you say, well, why can't you just stick this in? It's got crazy holes in it and whatnot stuff. So then I punched a hole in the suction cups. I'm going to try both ways, and I found something else interesting about this. We'll get to that in a minute. So we pop a hole there, and we get the rubber glove out, and we cut her apart for the flat, like I said. And then on the inside, I don't know if you can see it, there's like extra rubber where it dripped down. Cut that out. Try to get the flattest piece of rubber you can. So here is my 2 pieces I'm going to be using. Okay. And the rest of this, we'll just get rid of this right now. What we're going to do is we're going to make one of those little valves like on that tool that I was talking about years ago. All right. Now I could cut that off with a pair of scissors if I wanted, but we're not going to do that. And then you stick her over the hole. Okay. Right dead nuts over that hole. Now I'm just using this tape because this is a proof of concept, and I would probably try to find a tape that lasted longer. I know this tape, the mastic will dry up, but it's a porous tape. Nah, maybe not. That's a medical tape. Now when you do this, you want about 30 inches of mercury. And I found out my pump only goes to about 25. Before I stuck the suction cups on here, I stuck the end of the baster in here and sucked this down, and I almost got to 30. I got to like 28 just by this cheapo deal here. So what we're going to do, and since it's by hand, we're going to do the small one first. Stick her down. Yeah, make sure you got the plunger all the way down. That helps. Okay. Oops. And give her a couple sucks here. What I'm trying to do is trying to get out all this hair. I'm going to give her one more shot because I know what that about 30 pounds felt like, and that was about it. All right, so now if you can see where I popped the hole, right, the rubber's in there, the poppet's down, we've got a vacuum. Now we're going to do it with the mechanics one here, which has a gauge. You're just going to have to believe me. I don't know if you can see it. Sorry for the shaking. We've had just one of those days. All right, we're about centered. She's at 5 right now. About 8. Well, this is an old. Am I shaking you guys around? You getting dizzy? That's a really old one. I can't get past 10 on this. This tool here is about 15 years old. As you can see, I keep my things nice. All right, we got about 15. It's leaking down. That's my problem. All right, so we want to, obviously, I'd have to get another one of those hand pumpers. But now, here's what I was thinking. Now we got this down. We were talking about this tape getting slimy. Well, why can't we just melt the little Gulf wax. I don't have Gulf wax, but I do have a candle. Why can't I just go like so with the candle? Right? And just seal that whole thing up. That whole valve, I want that whole, if I had cut that little red piece off, we wouldn't have to mess with that so much. Oh, and they do have candles at the dollar store, in case you've never been to the dollar store. It's about the only thing they're good for. Cheap cleaning supplies and candles. So obviously if you were to do this with a candle, don't get a smelly candle. It might impart a flavor to your food. I don't think it would be dangerous in small amounts. All right. Okay. Let's let that cure for a second. So now we have 2 vacuum sealed bottles. And how I can show you that is watch this. Listen. Sounds like a lot more than you get at a store, huh? All right, that's my video today. If Cecilia's watching this, if I was to do this, Cecilia, maybe get one of those DeSilica packs. You can get those on the internet pretty cheap. The oxygen absorbers, and just throw one in just for, you know, giggles and craps. And that's about it. That's all I got.